An update on the severe storms expected today. New rules for nursing homes could make the situation in Oklahoma worse. And some indigenous families march for justice. This is the KGOU PM News Brief for Monday, May 6th. I'm Deborah Shar. The National Weather Service has issued what's called a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch for much of the state, in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. National Weather Service meteorologist Nolan Meister says storms are expected to develop along a dry line in western Oklahoma and move east as the afternoon progresses.
Any storms basically will have the potential to become a supercell with tornadoes. We could see several strong, potentially even long-tracked on the ground for a while tornadoes. The environment's really favorable for large to very large, and we could even see hail up to the size of 4 inches.
Multiple rounds of severe weather are possible, but the storms will be scattered, so many areas won't be impacted. The potential for tornadoes will increase after dark.
This is not going to be one of those days where storms really weaken quickly after sunset either. We could see, as the low-level jet ramps up, the tornado threat continue well into the night.
The Weather Service urges Oklahomans to have multiple ways to receive weather warnings through the night and have a plan to get to a safe spot. The Biden administration is introducing new rules for nursing homes, intending to combat staffing shortages and improve residents' care. State Impact's Jillian Taylor reports an association representing Oklahoma's nursing homes says this mandate is asking the state to find staff and money it doesn't have.
The new staffing rules from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services require residents to have nearly 4 hours of care per day and a registered nurse to be on site 24/7. Oklahoma is 46th in the nation for nurses per capita, and based on estimates from the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority, its nursing homes are currently operating in a funding deficit. Stephen Buck, the president and CEO of Care Providers Oklahoma, says these new rules, which will be rolled out over the next 2 to 5 years, will only exacerbate existing issues.
If you think about developing all that infrastructure, I don't know if 10 years would be enough.
Buck worries about the toll this will have on Oklahoma's nursing homes. For State Impact, I'm Jillian Taylor.
The state is updating its regulations for swimming pools for the first time since Gerald Ford was president. Oklahoma Public Media Exchange's Grayson Wheeler reports Governor Kevin Stitt has signed a bill to bring pools into the 21st century.
Ardmore Representative Tammy Townley says she introduced House Bill 4035 after a constituent's months-long struggle to get a permit to renovate an apartment complex pool. The newly passed law deregulates private pools, HOA pools, and splash pads. Public facilities will now be subject to the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code. It allows for more up-to-date building materials than Oklahoma's existing regulations, which were developed in the 1960s and 70s. Jackie Shawnee is chief of staff for the Oklahoma State Department of Health, which will oversee these rules. She says the updates will ease regulatory burdens and costs for pool operators.
Right now, the outdated kind of rules makes it really difficult for not only us to regulate it, but for the regulations to be met.
The new rules go into effect on November 1st. In Oklahoma City, I'm Grayson Wheeler.
About 50 activists came together in Oklahoma City to remember their loved ones on MMIP Awareness Day over the weekend. As Oklahoma Public Media Exchange's Sarah Lisi reports, many indigenous families say they're still waiting for justice.
At the state capitol, multiple families and friends walked together. Some sang songs. Others shared stories and remembered those whom they'd lost. Shelly McMahon walked for her son, Lanico, who was shot almost 2 years ago.
Makes you feel empty. He was my middle child, so it really feels there's a spot that's empty, and there's nothing you can do to fill it. So doing stuff like this helps.
To raise awareness, the activists made their way from the state capitol to City Hall in Oklahoma City. As they marched, they said the fight for justice remains a top priority. In Oklahoma City, I'm Sarah Lisi.
You can find more Oklahoma news on our website, kgou.org, and on the KGOU AM NewsBrief podcast. I'm Deborah Shar.
Hi, it's Terry Gross, the host of Fresh Air. We bring you in-depth, long-form interviews with actors, directors, musicians, authors, journalists, and more. Listen to our Peabody Award-winning Fresh Air podcast from WHYY and NPR.